and also
Toby and Graham. The coach is Daniel Anderson. So the Saints, they have met the Bradford Bulls twice already this year, both of them at Knowsley Road. They won 38-12 in the Super League and 42-18 in Challenge Cup football. They actually scored 5 tries to 4 against Hull last Thursday night, but their 100% home record went west. If they lose here and Leeds beat Salford, the gap at the top will be down to just 2 points. Well, Bradford, including playoff meetings and 2 grand finals in 1999 and 2002, it's 17 wins apiece from 34 meetings with the Saints. They're 4th in the table, but only 2 points ahead of Warrington and Salford. Talking to their coach Steve McNamara this week, he said, "Don't you worry, Bradford Bulls will not be falling off their perch this year." In other words, he has got eyes down and it's look in for a place at Old Trafford and the grand final in October. Richard Silverwood is the man in the middle. He will control matters tonight. It's a warm evening, a little bit sultry. Perfect conditions though for watching and playing, and as we have the 2 most successful clubs in the history of Super League on show, this should be quite a match.
Certainly will, Eddie, and I'm sure that both coaches will be very, very concerned about the opening 10-15 minutes. This will be a crunch game, especially up front in the forwards. Keep your eye out for Stuart Fielden against Nick Fozzard. That should be explosive.
Here is Paul Anderson with the first drive of the match. St Helens playing from left to right as we watch then in their change dark blue jerseys tonight, with the big white V down the chest, and there is Jason Kalis, and he is tackled by Brad Myers and company. They're midway inside their own half of the field are the Saints, and it's Anderson again who will trundle the ball further up towards the halfway line. It's Cunningham at dummy half, and here now is Sculthorpe. Paul Sculthorpe will lead Great Britain for the first time, all being well, on Tuesday week in the international against the Kiwis at his home Knowsley Road ground. That's a good kick from Sean Long early on.
Pretty quick thinking from the little half-back, gave himself plenty of room on that short blind side. Ensured that Saints get just field position. Always nervous times in the opening minutes. Mistakes aplenty perhaps.
Eddie, you know, St Helens was successful when they played against Bradford in the Cup by denying Bradford an opportunity to attack near their try line. I think it was over 30 minutes before the Bulls had to play the ball within the 10-metre zone from the St Helens line. And if you're able to do that very often, you're able to prevent Bradford from scoring.
Phil Clark back with us tonight after his 3 Peaks challenge in the week, looking fit and bronzed. Do you enjoy it?
It was a great experience, and you'll be able to catch up all on Wednesday night on Boots and All. We had a cameraman, Chris, followed us every step of the way, and the whole story will be told on Wednesday.
Good enough. We look forward to that. There's Terry Newton at dummy half, and here is Andy Lynch for the Bradford Bulls. 4 tackles. First set of 6 that Bradford have had ball in hand. This is Shontaine Harpy. Newton again, dummy half. Back it comes to Paul Deacon, and Deacon will kick crossfield, but that's meat and drink for A.D. Gardner. And that's a good chase though. Myers and Harris, a real collision. We have Brian Noble with us, the Wigan coach, the Great Britain coach of course, looking at plenty of his men here who will be donning the British jersey against the Kiwis on Tuesday week. Looking forward to that. But tonight, Brian, it's all about the Super League points for your old club.
Yeah, I think they've started really well. The early signs are really good in relation to their kick chase and their enthusiasm. They're hitting pretty big. What they can't afford to do is let St Helens bounce the ball around as they've done there. So they've swapped the first 2 sets. They've had a little bit of an arm wrestle, and we'll see how we go on.
St Helens just get over the halfway line on the 0 tackle, ruled by referee Mr. Silverwood. Long is waiting at dummy half as Cunningham got to his feet.
Great responsibility on the shoulders of both Terry Newton, the Bradford hooker, and of course Kieran Cunningham. And I think that the loss by St Helens to Hull last week may have had some effect of lifting their spirits, and that's good play. Quick hands out onto the left.
Francis Melly 3 tackles remaining. Looks a little ominous for Bradford as Kalis gets the pass from Sculthorpe. He dumps it back, and it's back to 0 in the tackle count again. This is Wellens. So this is a 3rd successive set of 6 that St Helens have had ball in hand, and it's with Sean Long. This is a dangerous situation. Oh, great hands, quick, and Gardner is in for the first St Helens try. He just nicked around Michael Withers' would-be tackle there like he wasn't there. And Adi Gardner with the first try of the night. That's now his 8th try in the last 6 games. He is one of the uncapped players in the Great Britain squad, and that's a great start for him and St Helens.
Well, they applied the pressure, then got the 6 to go. They had the opportunity. Terry Newton tried to get to it, couldn't do it. But what about the quick hands yet again? How many times do we see this? Gilmore, the short offload, and Lyon knew that Gardner was going to be there. The centre didn't even have to look. Watch this. Bang, it's yours. It's try time. That is vintage stuff. Super.
Great stuff from Adi Gardner.
When people talk about St Helens, they usually talk about the speed within the side, but within that last minute, I think there was a fantastic demonstration of this skill to move the ball out to the left-hand side, where they see top number 3, and then back over for the try to the right-hand side. Some great players putting themselves in the right position and showing wonderful skill to get the ball there.
Gardner with the try. It's his 23rd birthday, 3 days before Great Britain against New Zealand. I wonder if Mr. Noble here will be giving Adi Gardner his first cap. We might ask him. I don't think he'll give us the answer, but still. Lyon with the successful kick. And St Helens ahead by 6 points to 0 early.
All you do is suck in 2 players, and that is what the dummy runner has done to perfection. And by doing that, it creates the overlap. The sliding defence, good step from Gardner.
And Adi Gardner, he hasn't got the considerable frame of Leslie Vinacolo standing in front of him tonight. Vinacolo and Shontaine Harpy have swapped wings with Marcus St Hilaire and Ben Harris. They're operating down the right-hand side. They tried it last week at Castleford, and it has been continued on here tonight for this home meeting with the Saints, who I must say look up for the challenge here after losing the unbeaten home record last week.
Well, it's obviously a tactic by Daniel Anderson. They're keeping this ball alive. They're looking hungry for work, and they've got good support play.
But it's 2 defeats in the last 4 in Super League for St Helens. Hardly a crisis, but the Saints' wings have been clipped a little bit. Talk of an unbeaten season, of course, it doesn't happen at Super League level these days.
And I don't think it'll do them any harm either. You know, just a little bit of a wake-up call. They were just floating, as you say, at the top of the table. Everyone's saying that they virtually won it, but as you say, it's a long way to go. Things can happen.
As they found to their cost last year,
last season.
This is Andy Lynch. He's grounded on halfway. Tackle number 4 for Bradford. Newton to Jamie Langley. Tackled by Leon Price, Paul Sculthorpe and Willie Talau on the last. And Newton to Harpy. Harpy down the line, but Wellens, the brilliant St Helens fullback, positioned himself perfectly for that. Good chase, though, by Iestyn Harris. Now then, there are 3 uncapped players who have made Brian Noble's 20-man Great Britain squad on show tonight. A chance to impress Brian Noble then, who is here with us, and perhaps one of them to get the Man of the Match award. That's the job for the British press. Their spokesman is the Twin Peak specialist. He didn't make it up 3 hills, he only made 2. Dave Hadfield.
Thanks for that, Eddie. Yeah, for Bradford there's Jamie Langley, and I've been trying in vain to find anybody here who doesn't think that he's been the Bulls' most consistent player. Or what really has been an inconsistent season, although Stanley Jean might run him close. For Saints, Adi Gardner, surely the former British right winger in the competition, started off with a well-taken try there. James Graham, a strong candidate for Player of the Year. On the other hand, you'll find people who think that Paul Sculthorpe's lucky to be in the squad purely on current form. So what a good night it would be for him to show his true quality.
Thanks, Dave, and commiserations. He missed the walk or the climb up Snowdon, but I understand, Phil, that Dave Hadfield is going back as soon as his ankle heals.
It was a great effort from everybody involved, particularly I would have to say Nigel Ward. Anybody who knows Nigel works at the Rugby League headquarters. Just wait till you see the effort that he put in.
Offside.
No doubt about it. You can see
play
that
the
on
ball.
that on that blind side. Three of them just moved up very quickly indeed. Well, it's a ferocious start by the Saints, and Bradford, they really need good field position. Not really threaten the Saints line at all.
Steve McNamara in the box that was once upon a time occupied by our special guest tonight, Brian Noble. Just a couple of boxes up from us here at the commentary level. This is Stuart Fielden. Good run by the Great Britain prop forward. And Terry Newton from dummy half, a scampering run. Here is big Leslie Vinacolo. Now it's with Michael Withers. Good hands from Bradford on show here. Harris wide. Ben Harris. Well, if he'd have taken that cleanly, he would surely have been in for the try.
Well, the sliding defence was coming across, but it wasn't the best pass, or was it the fact that Ben Harris had just overrun it?
They're still here, though, Bradford. It's with Deacon. Shape to kick. He gets past the tackle, and he's in for the try, Deacon. That's a fabulous effort from Paul Deacon, but the referee hasn't given it yet. He wants the video referee, Ian Ollerton, tonight to check whether there was any obstruction of a St Helens player in back play in the build-up to this effort from Deacon.
Smart play as well. Look how he gave the impression he was going to go for the kick. Hooper went far too high, and the experience of Deacon there. Is there any obstruction? No, I don't think there's anything in that. It was barely just a half a push.
It's Ben Harris who's loitering with intent.
Has he got his arm around him? Does he push him? Does he grab him? That's what they've got to decide. Either way, Daniel Anderson, the Saints coach, won't be happy with the loose forward, Jason Hooper. He really should have buried the little halfback. It deserved a try. Look at that. They thought they were going to go for the kick. They hung back sufficient enough. Jason Kalis is the man that's been obstructed. It's up to Ian Ollerton now whether he's going to give it or not. I think he is, but look how he goes low. There's no way in the world they're going to stop the halfback. That is smart thinking. This will be TRY as far as I am concerned.
Ian Ollerton is the man who matters. What's his decision? He's disallowed it. He's disallowed it for the obstruction on Jason Kalis.
Well, I can't believe that. I mean, look, this is not tiddlywinks, folks. This is a hard contact game. And if we're going to start saying because you've touched a man, I really don't think that Kalis would make anything. I'm not the video referee, but I think the Bulls have been badly done to.
The St Helens lead stays intact then. And here is the man who was obstructed. That's Kalis. They've loaded this right-hand touchline. Going to be offside, Bradford. No, it's the other way around. It's another obstruction.
Well, he'd no option but to give that. Because he's touched a man. And that we're going to have to play the entire game like this, are we? Touch and pass. Come on. You've done it square now, Mr. Silverwood. Let's forget about it. They won't be able to move into each other. Dummy runners will be non-existent.
Okay, let's move, Saints. Move.
Take a breath, Steve-O. Let's hear from Brian Noble.
I think he's been a superstar to the game. I don't really agree with either of those decisions. I think Bradford were really, really hard done to there. But they got, I think, maybe a little bit of payback from the other one. But they're looking very, very threatening, Bradford, with the ball when they get down to this end of the field. And that's where they've got to play the game. If they look after the pool, they'll win the game, in my mind. And I think Saints are in for a tough night at the office. But we've seen the qualities of St Helens, haven't we? How good are they with their hand, ball in their hands in attack. And that's down to Sean Long picking up ideas and picking up people on the fringe, and the quality of their skill is really troubling Bradford.
Bradford trying to pierce the best Super League defence with Newton kick to the in-goal area, and well, it went over the dead ball line before it was touched over on that far side.
Need a little chip into the corner. Just a little bit too heavy. Did well, did Melly, just to make sure that it didn't get a hand to it. Well, a lot of controversy going around the ground here. I'm sure you people at home will have your own opinion on that.
Here's Kalis again. They know the danger of the New Zealand test forward, Bradford. And they know all about this fellow as well. Big Paul Anderson played arguably the best rugby league of his career on this ground for the Bradford Bulls. Here is Paul Sculthorpe. Gets St Helens almost to halfway on the last tackle. Cunningham will look for Long, and he will put the kick in right down the middle. Skips away from everybody, and the ball is out. Withers.
Pretty good tactics as well from the little halfback, Sean Long. On every kick, he's made sure that it's touched terra firma, and that gives the opportunity of the chase to be pretty good. Michael Withers didn't want to have anything to do with that, just had enough power to get it. Interesting to see how Saints are utilising the kick all the time. We've yet to see a run from Kieran Cunningham from dummy half. Obviously, Anderson, the coach, wanting to spin the ball wide, try to catch this tight sliding defence from Bradford out.
Ben Harris will hit the deck, and the tackle from Lee Gilmore and Jamie Lyon. Bradford, by the way, have the best home record in Super League over the last 10 years. They've won 117 of 140 games at home, drawing 3, losing only 21. An 84% success ratio. And Paul Sculthorpe now asking the referee what this penalty is given for.
Okay, Paul.
Well, the touch judge looks like he has come on.
Okay, Paul. Oh, sorry, Mick, talk to me. Okay. All right, we don't need it though, Paul, do we?
Well, I'm not sure what that was about.
He said he grappled him around the neck, didn't he? I think from where the touch judge stood, it maybe looked like it came up high, but penalties are helping the Bulls, aren't they, to get out of that end zone, really. And once they get into the opposition half, they're as good, if not better, than every field in there, is it?
Yes,
Look,
it is.
For a forward, he always gets those 10 metres.
He'll play the ball to Terry Newton. They'll go down the right-hand side with Shontaine Harpy. There's a good tackle by Leon Price. Here is Newton again, and they're looking for Vinacolo down the line, and Sculthorpe stands his ground.
That's the third time they've worked that short blind, and they've got good field position. They'll probably finish off here.
It's Terry Newton. He can't be stopped, can he? Well, it's a slip pass, and
Is it a forward?
Denied this time.
He can't go to the screen for a forward pass. He's going to give it. This will be interesting to see. Cannot go to the video referee, but Newton's pass looked to me slightly forward. Take nothing away from the hooker. He's injected a lot of power into this Bradford side. They thought they denied him, but he was looking for the offload. That was poor work in defence. They hung back. Oh, that looked forward. That does look very ominous to me. He virtually had to lean over the line to get it. Great effort, poor defence, took full advantage, and ladies and gentlemen, that's forward.
Well,
and he can't go to the screen for the forward pass. But I think you'll see where he offloads it, which is in the field of play, and Deacon is over the line before he takes it. Well, that squared it up, I feel. The Deacon try before should have been given.
And Paul Deacon does square it up with the boot. It's Bradford 6, St Helens 6.
And the Bulls really do look like a side embarrassed by recent results. Just the power and determination the first 3 carries from that penalty. Bang, bang, bang. And then Terry Newton took off with the determination, targeting Leon Price and bursting through the tackle there. In fact, what was interesting as well, once they scored the try, Eddie, the entire team jogged back quickly to get in position. You know you're playing against a determined side when their immediate focus is to get back and get set to go again.
And that's a huge error from Sean Long. He's slammed that out on the full. It's a penalty to Bradford on halfway.
Well, it certainly won't help their cause, the Saints.
That was way
Well, it was
off.
miles away, wasn't it?
It was.
Well, I put the mocker on him. I was praising him for his open kicking game.
But he was
there again, look at Bradford piling into the St Helens left-hand side.
He was man of the match in the cup tie, Sean Long. He absolutely demoralised the Bradford Bulls that afternoon. And there's another penalty because Anderson and Hooper were lying all over the top, and Anderson claiming that Fielden was holding on to him, and I think he's got a case actually.
Oh, without a doubt, trying to turtle him. When you can see that the big fella wants to get up and get on with the game. The referee's absolutely spot on, Mr. Silverwood. I know one thing that's crept into this St Helens outfit over the past few weeks is that there's quite a few of their players, they seem to be more intent having a little chat with a man with a whistle rather than getting on with their job and getting themselves in a good defensive position.
Paul Deacon to try and add another 2 points to the Bradford total and give the champions the lead. That's the angle he has. All the St Helens supporters behind the posts. Got a good view of it going over the top of the H. And Bradford do indeed hold the advantage. They trail 6-0 early. It's 8-6 now.
Yeah, keep the trap shut. That's what that guy should be sending the message out. Get on with playing rugby league football. And more to the point, from the kick-off, make sure they don't go dead in goal and give away a silly penalty.
Well, the Saints trail 5-1 on the penalty count. That's part of the problem they've had, isn't it, in this opening 16-17 minutes. Those penalties have helped Bradford get into the game, and they'll be desperate sometimes to get their hands on possession because the game's just slipping away from them the last few minutes.
It's Bradford, though, who have the ball with Ben Harris. There's a tackle missed by Jason Hooper, but the next three managed to get him. Marcus St. Hilaire. He was brought in to Odsal at the last minute on the eve of the season. He looked set for Halifax at one stage after being released by Huddersfield. This now is Fielden.
I must say, Bradford tonight, they look as though they've got...
penalty. The referee now wants a word with Jamie Lyon. He's caning Saints.
No, you've got to keep him down. You're going straight for the head. Okay.
Well, he claims that he didn't. Maybe the picture will tell us differently. And there was a little grab in there. There was not much in it, though.
Well, it was a facial, but... Oh, come on. These are not pansies running around out there.
No, but they can't go high, Steve-O, to be fair. And that was high from Lyon, so... It's 6-1, the penalty count, in Bradford's favour.
Just getting to the point early is that Bradford, for the first time for many a week, their shape is solid. They look as though they know exactly what they're going to do. And the man leading them one through is the man at dummy half, Terry Newton. He's controlling things out there.
Lynch with another strong drive towards the St Helens line. There is Newton, and he gets it away to McKenna. McKenna can't get away from Price and Cunningham. That's Terry Newton. Fielden's on his inside. Elects instead to go for Deacon, who finds Justin Harris. And short ball to Langley.
Had to be good defence there. It was a good short ball. The big fellow was really steaming to it.
Deacon with another grubber kick to the in-goal area, and just a touch too long. And Paul Wellens, he went crashing into the track that surrounds this Odsal pitch.
Teasing little kick, wasn't it, from Deacon? He's in top form, and
penalty now to St Helens. Less than 20 minutes gone and 8 penalties in the match.
Is that penalty in the right place, Eddie? Shouldn't it be 10 metres further downfield on the 30-metre line? If the players are offside.
Okay, let's come back.
Well, if it's offside, he's penalised. It's on the line is the restart, the penalty from the restart.
Oh, thanks, Eddie.
Cunningham, long, looking busy.
Well, that's the first time we've seen Cunningham start running from that dummy half. Maybe the message has got out from Daniel Anderson, say, come on, we need to get some power back into our game.
Well, they've thrown James Graham on there. There he is, the number 19. Here is Kalis. Slipped the short ball, and Hooper steps out of the challenge from McKenna, plays the ball to Cunningham, and Cunningham.
Well, Fielden could have been caught there for offside. He never got back to 10.
Leon Price.
Kick, surely.
Sean Long, he's shaped for the kick. Oh, that's flicked one way and then the other. It's the last tackle, knock on, so it's the turnover.
Bring it out.
Well, he's often allowed to let the ball. He's claiming he went backwards. Either way, surprised everybody, including his teammates, that he didn't go for the kick.
Okay, first move, Jason.
6 apiece at the KC Stadium, and last time we saw 6 apiece at Salford. Here it's 8-6. Bradford 6-all. Salford leads Hull and Harlequins. And here at Odsal, the champions, just with their noses in front against the pretenders to the crown in 2006.
Well,
it's really interesting just how much traffic Bradford are sending at Leon Price. His side of the field has been dangerous so far in attack this season, but the amount of offensive play that Bulls are throwing at Leon Price that right side. Could be one of the reasons why Harpy and Vinacolo have switched sides, and they persist with Newton going at him.
Well, they'll know all about Leon Price if he has any defensive frailties. He was here for long enough. This is his first return visit to Odsal. Instant Helens colours.
They're really muscling up for Bradford.
Well, they know the danger that Sean Long poses, and they know the trouble he caused them in the Challenge Cup tie.
Well, they're cutting them off at the pass, aren't they? They're allowing them nowhere in, and that's a knock-on. Big mistake.
Head and feed to Bradford.
I don't know where he got it from, but he's got better eyes than I have.
There's the tackle count so far for Leon Price, just to emphasise the point that Phil Clark was making a moment ago.
Do you know, he's been averaging about 18 in an entire match, and we've seen how many he's made there in the opening quarter. That's an indication of Bradford's tactic going into this game.
It's Ben Harris at dummy half for Bradford. Here now Brad Myers.
Second move!
It's a physical contest, isn't it?
Go, 2.
Ben Harris, Deacon, and Andy Lynch. Lynch, who's been ever present, and he started all 19 this year, the prop forward. Deacon now came back the other way, and a big hit by Kieran Cunningham. It's Harris on the bounce. It finds its way eventually to Leslie Vinacolo. Leslie Vinacolo is in touch. That is wonderful defence.
What a tackle from Paul Wellens. The volcano was about to erupt, and Wellens says, no, you ain't. Talk about upper body strength, ball and all.
Well, in sheer weight terms, Vinacolo must be about twice as heavy as Wellens, isn't he?
Well, he was like a matador, and throwing the sword away and grabbing them by the horns and saying, you're in touch. Great play from both players.
Nick Fossard is waiting to come on for the Saints. A new 2-year deal for him, penned last week, and he celebrated with a try against Hull. But he didn't celebrate with the victory, of course. Here is Gilmore. That tackle is not completed. Now it is.
Fielden got it with a great shoulder into the ribs.
Graham.
Doesn't surprise me that he's thrown in Graham, and now the big fella's into it. Nick Fossard. They need to get some superiority up front where it counts.
Penalty now offside against Bradford.
Certainly had plenty to select from there. That has been the difference yet again. They've been a little lethargic of late, of the Bulls, but tonight they are really screaming out of the blocks.
This is Cunningham, lateral running. Pass goes into the arms of Wellens. He finds Sculthorpe. Good job that Deacon was there. For a second it just seemed to have opened up for the St Helens skipper. It's Wellens who gets it infield to Jason Hooper. And 3 tackles gone halfway through this set of 6, and Saints 5 metres away. Here is Leon Price. Now it's with Sean Long. Infield it goes to James Graham. Good defence on show from Bradford. Cunningham comes in at dummy half. He will give it to Leon Price. Price gives it flat to Hooper, and again another good tackle by Newton low down. Cunningham. Long back this way. And they're in with Paul Wellens. Well, I think Bradford were going down the right, and Sean Long turned the ball inside, and Wellens, with grateful hands, he went over next to the posts. Wellens with the try, Saints back in front.
Great work from Fossard as well. Trailing through, he looked as though he was going to score, but he had the wherewithal to maybe just spin in the tackle. Planned move, obviously. But I'm not so sure about the second pass being involved in it, but Wellens, as always, reads the game ever so well. Good step by Long, and great support play.
St Helens have been successful this season, going down the middle on teams. Again, that penalty on the 4th player was an important one. But players, when assessing, coaches, when assessing a player, want to know can a player play both defence and attack. And Paul Wellens in the last couple of minutes has just shown he can do it at both ends of the field.
Paul Wellens the Great Britain fullback. A try against Hull last Thursday night. A try against Bradford in the Cup. His 8th Super League try of the year we've just seen. And Jamie Lyon. Well, this should be fairly academic for him. He began the night needing 8 points for 400 for the Saints. There's 2 more. So he's now just 4 away from the milestone, and St Helens are ahead by 12 points to 8.
Inside pass will always catch someone out if they're just a little bit relaxed there, and you can see it was Terry Newton that came through just enough. He's out of position, well taken by the fullback. Is in scintillating form.
He is, and as we have the Great Britain coach here with us, the form of Paul Wellens, Brian, must do your heart the power of good.
He's in superb form. He's been on top form. He's such a competitor. When you meet Paul, you understand why he's so good. I don't think he's got the best speed in the world, but he makes himself quick. He thinks quickly. He's in the right place at the right time. We saw what a magnificent tackle on Leslie one-on-one, and that's a fair play, believe you me. And then we see at the other hand his value in attack. He's a great player.
Indeed so. And James Graham is another member of the Great Britain squad. In fact, there are Great Britain members all across this St Helens lineup, and Stuart Fielden, disputing the call from Mr Silverwood, is marched 10 metres back towards his own line. Markers are not standing square, he says.
Well, it was a little bit slow just to get up there, and a few seconds just make the difference. But now it's Bradford that are losing their cool a little bit. But it just shows you the importance, Brian, in regards to being a coach, when and where you put your substitutes on the field of play.
Here's one of the subs, Graham, for St Helens. In a moment, Brian, maybe you'll answer that point. Let's see how this develops, because it's Sculthorpe and it's Willie Talau. And Leslie Vinacolo and Iestyn Harris doing the business on him. And that is Melly, and Francis Melly is over. And I think if he's got it down, this is another St Helens try. And Melly believes he has got the ball down.
Well, it's going to be pretty close. Harris is there.
There's an obstruction in the ground in place.
Now then, as the right arm of Harris prevented Melly. Pretty difficult to see on a different angle. Well, I think you'd have to give it.
Benefit of doubt comes to mind.
Well, sometimes they ignore it.
I wouldn't have given it, Eddie. I know that first angle we saw there, I thought Iestyn Harris did enough to deny him.
Yeah, I think that on that side one there, Phil, that's it'll probably be given.
And I think there was a little bit of interference, wasn't there, by the man who played the ball, Willie Talau.
I think they're going to give it.
Let's see. It's Ian Ollerton's decision that counts. The try is disallowed. And Daniel Anderson can't believe it. There was, I think it was for obstruction by Willie Talau. That's why we have them, the video referees. That's why referees should use them at every dubious decision that has to be made in their mind.
Well, it's there for that reason, Eddie, and you know, you've got to start going for it.
Well, we should have a bit of fun now. Stanley's on.
Okay. Two.
This is Deacon and Ben Harris.
Third, back up. Wait. Go. Three.
Ian Henderson. He's been on the bench since Terry Newton returned to the side. Ian Henderson, but he's a valuable member of this Bradford squad. That's a poor kick. Poor kick from Paul Deacon straight into the arms of Adi Gardner.
Well, you're right about Henderson coming off the bench. And one thing that he will give to this Bradford side is a little bit of speed at the play of the ball. May not have the guile as Terry Newton has, but certainly a lot quicker.
Offside, Brett. Brett, stay out.
Wellens is picked up by Stanley Jean and Ian Henderson and dumped to the ground. Here is Nick Fozzard. Coming up to the half-hour mark. And St Helens just ahead. Graham, oh, it's a great run from the youngster. And he's got Gilmore in support. He gives it to Gilmore. Gilmore over in the line for another St Helens try. And James Graham, the 20-year-old rather, He's the man who made that. It was a terrific burst from James Graham, and Gilmore with the pace to support him, and Lee Gilmore with the try. It's his 4th try this year. Another man from St Helens in fine form.
Poor defence, very poor indeed. You can see Deacon really didn't get his shoulder behind it. Good support play by Gilmore. As Eddie mentioned, the burst from Graham is superb. You've got to make your mark. He kept his cool. Came back too late. Good try.
I think it's fair to say that almost every St Helens player has been struggling to make ground against this formidable Bulls defence so far. But the fact that James Graham's come onto the field and made a massive difference. He's amazing the number of breaks and busts that he's come up with this year for such a young player, playing in a difficult position of prop. And he really is at the moment my candidate for Young Player of the Year.
Yes, he's captain of the England Academy Tour to Australia and New Zealand in 2004. And the way he is going, James Graham, we don't like to do Brian Noble's job for him, do we? But there might be a seat on the plane for Mr. Graham.
Listen, if someone's playing out of his skin, then he deserves to get selected. And you cannot deny the facts that this guy has set the Super League world on fire.
Lyon to add the extras for the Saints. 18 points to 8 now to the league leaders.
I'll also add to it as well that the youngster is always looking for work. He doesn't shy, he doesn't hide on the blind side. Graham really puts his hand up and said, I want to work hard. And he does.
High kick-off collected by Long, gives it to Adi Gardner. He falls under the challenge from Henderson. And Brett Ferris was there as well. His last start was against St Helens in the Cup.
Pretty important now that Bradford just don't lose their confidence and allow St Helens to get on top by scoring another try. It's going to be difficult for him to fight back with, in that second half. We all know what Saints are capable of, but that's a big error. Oh. Well,
it looked like just a vigorous challenge by the Bradford players that sprung the ball from Sculthorpe's grasp.
Well, we can't see it, but on the far side.
Well, the touch judge has given the call here.
Yeah, Stuart Fielden has ripped it out as far as this is concerned. But I think he's just lost it. Maybe he had a fingertip. It's hard.
Well, the penalty count now is levelling itself up. That's 7-6. Seems to have been a lot. Referee shouting at Brett Ferris to stay out of the action there because he was stood offside.
I'm not so sure that Jason Hooper will thank anybody for that short pass. Jamie Langley really clattered into him.
Here's Leon Price. Oh, gets a great ball away to Paul Wellens. Had to be a good tackle, and it was, from Ben Harris. Here is Long, and he's found Roby. Langley and Henderson get to him. There's Sean Long. He fires it wide to Sculthorpe. Further wide it goes. And they were so close again. Jason Hooper denied. Sculthorpe, Long again. Kick out wide, looking for Adi Gardner. He climbs above, gets the pass away, and Gilmore just couldn't pick it up.
It was TRY time on a plate.
What a climb from Gardner.
Gardner did well. It opened the oven door, and the turkey was there, and they just dropped it. I'd sure it was a hot turkey.
Not a terribly seasonal remark.
Go.
Here is Vanganar.
Second move. Wait. Go.
We're in that period of the game, Eddie, where this season St Helens has just been too hot for everybody else. That 10-minute spell just leading up to half-time. They've killed off so many games and so many opponents. And for this stage, they're almost gaming the balance, but 2 quick tries and many occasions this season have taken Saints in for a rest at half-time with a comfortable lead.
2 quick out of the blocks, the Saints.
Offside. Leon Price, right.
Leon Price, the man picked out by the referee.
Well, I don't think it's that fast. I think the official has got it spot on. We've already made comment about the fact that he has had to work very hard in defence. To be fair to him, he wanted to get involved there on that occasion.
Okay, Leon.
This is Shontaine Harpy for Bradford.
There's a lot of sledging going out there as well. They're giving Leon Price plenty of chatter.
Nice run from Ian Henderson. And it's another shrill blast on Mr. Silverwood's whistle, this time for a high tackle by Paul Sculthorpe.
Well, there's no doubt about it.
Listen, high tackle, okay. You're also sailing close to the wind. You keep coming to me, questioning decisions. Back off. No, you keep coming to me in an aggressive manner.
There is a way, and the official has got it spot on, Richard Silverwood, saying that there is a way that you can request what the penalty was given for. And I think you heard it quite clearly. He said, you're coming to me in an aggressive manner.
There's an aggressive run from Stuart Fielden, halted by Lyon. Deacon finds Easton Harris. Here is Stanley Jean. And Stanley Jean is held up by 1, 2, 3 defenders. So close. Withers fires the ball to Easton Harris. Picked up off his toes by Ferris, Banganar, Harpy, Vinacolo, the usual route, albeit on the other side of the ground, but Leslie Vinacolo in the corner for the Bradford Bulls. Shontaine Harpy, Leslie Vinacolo, as good a double act as there is in Super League. And Vinacolo with try number 9 in 2006.
Basic principle of rugby league. Create the overlap and do not give away penalties. And they certainly did on that occasion. The link is superb. You come out of the line, you're in all sorts of trouble. It was 3-on-1, and Vinacolo slides in easily. If you're going to go out of the blocks, you've got to make sure you get them. And they failed to do that. Harpy knew exactly there was plenty of room to move. And Vinacolo, he does what he does best in this game. Scores great tries.
Well, it's 121 tries, and this is his 121st game. Leslie Vinacolo. Deacon with a difficult conversion attempt off the touchline far side. Just the wrong side of the posts. 18-12, Saints ahead.
Simple. Bring the defence in, look at the overlap that they've got out wide. And there's no one at home.
And we see here the Bulls are a team that love to play with width when they can. The penalty count in this game having a significant bearing on the match, and again it was that one close to the line that took the Bulls within range. Wonderful skill to get the ball from the left hand side to the right hand side. Easton Harris always involved when they want to move the ball wide.
Long's kickoff is deep again, and it was Marcus St. Hilaire who was underneath it.
It's amazing now, just a few decisions, just one error. Remember, a couple of minutes before Vinacolo scored that try, Gardner took a wonderful kick, offloaded to Gilmore, who dropped the ball at the line at his mercy. They could have had total control of this. Now the Bulls are well and truly back into the game.
And here they come down that right-hand channel again with Brett Ferris, John Wilkin and Willie Talau doing the stopping. Ian Henderson, he's added something to them since he's come off the bench, Ian Henderson.
He gets on with the job, he's busy.
Deacon, inside his own half, was under pressure then from Wilkin, not the best kick. And Wellens to begin the counter. He gets as far as Stanley Jean and no further. Gardner. Stanley again.
I'll tell you something for nothing. There's no love lost out there.
Well, whenever these two sides have met in the past, Saints have won the big ones.
There's a lot of niggling going on. There's going to be some squared-ups later in this game.
2 grand finals, 3 Challenge Cup finals. Here is Sean Long for St. Helens. Oh, and he fooled everybody then, almost. Except Stuart Fielden just got an important ankle tap on him. It was finished off by Joe Banganar. Wilkin with a high kick. This is a tester for Withers. Claimed it brilliantly though. And Wilkin, the man who kicked the ball, plays everybody onside. Here's Big Leslie.
Nice shot, Fozzard, silly play. Right in front of the official. Just when you've got a good field position. It's just a waste of time. Why do the kick and then the good chase when you lose composure and give away a penalty? Forwards, you've got to love them.
This is Jamie Langley. He'll play the ball to Henderson. Down that right channel again with Harpy.
That looked high as well.
Henderson, scampering run. Oh, and he wanted the ball, Fielden.
Little doubt he went into the mush.
Here is Paul Deacon. Back it goes to Stanley Jean. He gets away from Gilmore briefly. Then the reinforcements arrive. Harris off the outside of the boot. Collected by Wellens.
Time to make a sandwich there. Just a little bit too far, but the great positioning by the fullback, Paul Wellens. He's having a cracking season and a cracking game tonight.
Lyon. Sculthorpe. Big hit by Vainicolo.
It's one of those numbers where they were going for the tackle. Continuation of the tackle count.
Here is Francis Melly. Now it's with Willie Talau. Sculthorpe, he's not tackled. Referee shouted play on. And there's the half-time siren. And St Helens lead at the break by 18 points to 12. Paul Sculthorpe, his 9th consecutive appearance, his best sequence in over a year, and it's a real cutthroat sort of match. Gilmore's try ensures that Saints go into half-time with a 6-point advantage. Right now in the Super League, it's half-time here at Odsal, and the Bradford Bulls 12, St Helens 18. And these Bradford Bulls, they created Super League history, winning the title from 3rd place last year. But the question has to be asked, could they defend it from lower than that in 2006? They currently stand 4th in the table, only a couple of points ahead of Warrington and Salford at this moment in time. Meanwhile, the St Helens coach, Daniel Anderson, he might be a little concerned about the high penalty count. I think it's 10-6, the penalty count at half-time, in Bradford's favour. And maybe he's just talking about discipline for the league leaders in the second half. Let's bring you up to date with the half-time scores elsewhere. And 2 games taking place. Hull 18, Harlequin 6 at half-time. And Salford 10, Leeds 6 at the Willows. Salford have never beaten Leeds in Super League before. They are halfway towards completing the job at the Willows this evening. It's always good to be here at Odsal, and we have Brian Noble as our guest, former Bradford coach, of course. Great Britain coach, currently coach of Wigan. We will see Wigan and Catalan Dragons on Sunday night. But for the time being, Brian, your focus is on your old team. And, well, have to come from behind in the second half. Can they do it?
Well, absolutely. They look vigorous, they look energetic. You know, Saints are a pretty good outfit themselves and score points. And I think the team that wins this, I think it'll be the team that stays squeaky clean in relation to the referee and the penalties that you've mentioned, because it seems that each team that gives penalties away are giving themselves field position to attack, and both teams look really, really dangerous in attack on the goal line. You'd have to say Saints do, but you'd also have to say when Bradford's been down there only 3 times, I think they've scored 2 tries. So they're both teams that can score tries, and I think that discipline element both coaches will be talking about.
And of course, Bradford, they did have the ball over the line another time, Phil, but that was denied by the video referee, and certainly Steve-O here, he thought that was a very harsh call.
Yeah, maybe unlucky on that one. Perhaps lucky though with the later decision when the potential of a forward pass, weren't they? Do you know, when we've seen St Helens at their best and they're really scintillating attacking rugby, it's when they get quick play the balls. But Bradford's defence is really clever, good technique, good men in the tackle. It means that quick play the ball doesn't roll back to either Cunningham or Roby, and they don't get that flow down the field. So you really have to compliment what Bradford have done today. They've worked hard to slow St Helens down the ruck area. Few teams are able to do that for 80 minutes. Big question, can Bradford?
Indeed so, and well, it's a meeting of the 2 most successful clubs in Super League history. I think it's 4 titles each over the last 10 years. So, needless to say, you're running out of ink.
Yeah, pretty close to it. I must say that both sides, they always promise us tries. I think both coaches will be a little bit upset with their defensive qualities, though, because there has been quite a few missed tackles and a bit mishaps. They were under a lot of pressure, Bradford, early. This is the moment where Newton gave them the third set of 6, would you believe? And it was Gardner. Beautiful pass by Lyon. And it looked perhaps as though the Bulls were beginning to lose their shape, but this is the obstruction that was given. Now, that was just patter cake. Deacon, superb little step, dives underneath. That was the no try. Thankfully, it was squared up. Newton, to me, the pass is forward. He passes it in the field of play, and watch where Deacon catches it. Over the line. That looks forward. Okay, they've levelled the scales. It's as simple as that.
There are a few things, Steve, more frightening than Leslie Vinocola running straight at you. But Paul Wellens did remarkably well. Stood his ground. Such a strong player as well to take him over the sideline. And then back at the other end of the field, great inside support player. Firstly, Fozzard spinning in the pass, looking for support and finding it in Wellens.
I think this is a penalty. We see there Willie Tillau is allegedly taking Yestin Harris out, but we see that thousands of times in rugby league. And I think Chris McKenna does a great job on Shantae Harper tipping the referee up. He goes to the screen, no try. And then we see young James Graham one-on-one with Paul Deacon, a tough tackle to make. Great speed for a front rower, and Gilmore always there on the end of things to convert the try.
And after that, it looked as though it was going to be Saints easy, and it could have been. Look at that, Gardner takes the ball, and Gilmore try begging. Absolutely mess. Well, Vinocola was stopped earlier, and this is the high tackle. The penalties, well, they've given far too many away. Again, you could see that Bradford pressing on the Leon Price side, but this was sheer quality, isn't it? It looks simple, but it takes a lot of effort to ensure that the defence, the sliding defence of St Helens, is very compact, and then they just do the link. Very impressed with the attack. Coaches won't be happy with the defence. They'll have to tighten up in the second half.
And I just want to get, before we leave you for another break, just Brian Noble's opinion on this James Graham. I mean, he has set Super League on fire this year, hasn't he? And rightly, he's in your squad for the Kiwi Test a week on Tuesday.
Well, I think one of the ambitions of everybody that's been involved in Great Britain in the last 5 years is not to give shirts away like toffee papers. And you get it if you're playing well, and this kid's playing well. He's done it consistently. If you look at his stats even, and we're meticulous in the research of these people, he's breaking the line plenty, he's offloading plenty, he's tough, he's belting people when they go his way, so he's playing a tough job in the front row, and he thoroughly deserves his call-up.
Indeed so. That's all for the future, of course. The Great Britain-New Zealand Test is on Tuesday week at Knowsley Road. The present is all about the 2 Super League points that are at stake here at Odsal. And, well, Bradford have shown enough in the first half to suggest they can come back in the second 40 and win the match. We shall see. Just about to start the second half here at Odsal, and Bradford Bulls 12, St Helens 18 is the situation we have here. And a rugged first 40 behind us, and more to come, doubtless, in the second half. That is now in motion, courtesy of the left peg of Sean Long. And here is Stuart Fielden with the first run from the forwards in this second half. And there's the first, I was going to say there's the first penalty. Fielden actually had a foot in touch there. The touch judge on the far side got it absolutely right, just a toe end.
Well, that's an amazing error. It was a good burst as well. It's always great to kick off at deep for the second half. You know you've got the chance to apply the pressure, no doubt about it.
On the line is out.
Yep.
Oh, poor pass from the base of the scrum, finds its way to Wellens eventually. So great attacking situation for St Helens right at the start of this second half, and here is Jamie Lyon. He had the upper body strength to go over the top of Paul Deacon. John Wilkin is in at dummy half. 20 metres away the Saints with Lee Gilmore. Here is Fozzard, back to Gilmore again. Then to Long, and Sean Long was passing it before he got the ball safely under control.
He's got a grin on his face. I'm not so sure his coach will.
No.
No grin there. So
a fumble by Sean Long, and Bradford with the Head and feet at the scrum. Stanley Jean with the football. Now then, let's go down to the sideline and pick up half-time news. Bill?
Well, Eddie, as you can imagine, both coaches a bit concerned about the lack of discipline from their side. Saints more so. Coach Daniel Anderson asking his side to look at their tackling technique, just causing themselves problems in that area, allowing the Bulls plenty of possession and field position. They're looking to improve on that and also just try and pick up the pace. It has been, because of the penalty count, a real stop-start affair, and that's probably prevented Saints from getting on a roll. It's quite to the Bulls' liking. They're very happy. Steve McNamara really positive at half-time. They're looking up, keeping their heads up and just concentrating on keeping it Saints down at their end of the field. They can't do them any damage, Saints can't, if you keep them in their own half of the field and then put pressure on them. So the Bulls really are positive, but like Saints, looking to improve on their discipline.
Well, 16 penalties in the first half. That's why the coaches have centred on the word discipline during their half-time discussion. And Fozzard went without it, but it went backwards. And it's an element of good fortune for Nick Fozzard. Long is grounded on tackle number 5.
Fielding was very, very lucky to not be penalised. It seemed to have a second lunge.
Wilkins' kick down centre field, bounces and then skips away from Michael Withers. So Marcus St. Hilaire will bring it back for the Bradford Bulls. The chase arrives. 3 minutes of the second half gone. Brian Noble.
It's quite an interesting game, Eddie, because what we're seeing the Saints do is work the Bradford ruck over. That's the middle part of the field. They're sending one-up carries, hoping to get that bounce, that quick play of the ball where they can take off and make some yards. It's interesting as well, the Bradford tactics are to hammer one side of the St. Helens defence, work over one side and then shift the ball a little bit to the middle. They were looking for Leon Price in the first half. I'm sure they've got a target in mind in the second half on one of those flanks.
It's Fielden again, and Wilkin had hold of him round the ankles. Fielden moved forward about 3 or 4 metres then. It's a high kick and there's nobody there, only Adi Gardner for St. Helens, and he gives it infield to Paul Welland. And here comes the counter.
Well, it was a poor kick and an even worse chase. Steve McNamara got the message out there. If they've got to up the tempo, they've got to make sure that they chase the ball downfield. You can see there Gardner had all the time in the world to pick it.
Sculthorpe again, flying tackle by Big Joe Vanganart and Shontaine Harpy. Here is James Graham again. Gets them to halfway, dumps the ball down. Wilkin
did well there to catch that.
Play on, says the touch judge.
I think he got it right as well.
This is Roby, who is scragged by Harpy to the floor. Last one for Saints. Wellens, long, stabs it through. Hooper's after it, and Hooper gets there first, flicks the pass away to Gilmore, and it's still alive. Wellens, Paul Wellens, ball hits the deck, and Bradford have it in the shape. I think that's Deacon underneath all that, and it is.
Well, it did seem to come off a Bradford hand, didn't it? Eventually, yes, he spotted it, the touch judge. Bradford hand involved, knocking the ball down, Eddie.
System's not working, couldn't hear you.
Bradford knocked the ball down. It's held backwards, Shawnee.
Well, you can see
it was touched by Michael Withers.
Yep, definitely got to it. Crowd didn't like it. A few technical problems with the microphone, etc. to Richard Silverwood. But you've got to admire the way that this St. Helens side just desperate to keep the ball alive. Quite clearly on that angle that the fullback Michael Withers, extra pressure. Now then, will St. Helens come on with a set pattern move from here? Looks as though Long's going to take the first receiver.
He has. Wilkin fed the scrum. Long gives it to Wellens. This is James Roby. Long again. Go wide to Lyon. Further wide it goes to John Wilkin.
Great tackle from Langley, had to be as well.
Here's Long once more.
Pretty solid defence, he's lost it.
Fozzard has lost the ball.
I'm not surprised, it was a 50-50 ball. Some say it was forward, others may claim it was flat. Either way, Fozzard didn't have control of it. It's fun being a coach, Brian.
Eddie, Bradford's body language as if this is a sudden death knockout match. Maybe we're in the playoffs already. every player running to congratulate the defending there. It's as if the whole season depends on winning here tonight.
Well, maybe, just maybe for Bradford it does, because they're fourth in the table. They're only 2 points ahead of the teams immediately below them. Another defeat and they could sink down the table this weekend a little. So that's why they're playing it like a playoff, and there have been plenty of those between these two clubs over the years. Here is Stuart Fielden, the man whose tackle forced the knock-on by Nick Farzard 5 tackles ago.
Well, all throughout this game we've mentioned the fact that Bradford are coming towards the left-hand side, but maybe it's time to come up with something different.
And they play it wide. It is play on. Now it isn't.
Another golden opportunity. That'll be the turnover. But I'm just making the point that St Helens are having to stack that defence on the left-hand side. You've noticed a few times Jason Hooper coming over to help. The likes of Liam Price, who they try to hang on in that area. But maybe it's time to just switch the method of attack.
And now it's another penalty. Ian Henderson.
Big call held. Well, we made comment about his enthusiasm.
Well, he's entitled surely to tackle him.
I know, but the referee called held, Eddie.
But he got it wrong, didn't he? Yeah. He wasn't held, and that's why Henderson came in. And Leon Price off the field, and Bill says it's no injury. That's interesting, isn't it?
Well, he knows he's been targeted. And that's a good choice by Daniel Anderson.
Is it a short-term rest or a 40-minute rest, Steve-O?
We'll soon see.
This is Sculthorpe. He gets to his feet, plays the ball to Cunningham. Paul Anderson hands it on to Sean Long. Here is Wellens. Good tackling by Deacon and Jamie Langley. Langley has impressed us this year with his defence, hasn't he? It
has to be as well, because he's always threatening, isn't he? With us, he knows when to chime in. Now, will it be the grubber or will it be high?
It's with Long, and they're running it with Talau. It went backwards, but it finds its way to the touchline anyway.
But if you're going to play the power play, then you've got to make sure that it's spot on. And Willie Talau had certainly overrun that.
We've seen 1 or 2 shots tonight of Daniel Anderson, the St Helens coach, and he doesn't look terribly impressed with what he's seeing so far.
Well, they demand so much, don't they?
Lynch drives it forward to the 40-metre line for the Bradford Bulls. And only Leeds, by the way, have scored more tries than Bradford this season. 80 for the Bulls before tonight. A couple more already in this match. Good ball wide. This is Ben Harris. Long with the tackle. That's the last one, this set of 6 for Bradford. Expect the kick here from Iestyn Harris. There it is, high. And who wants this? Wellens is after it. Wellens claims it. Safe as houses. But a great chase by Leslie Vinacolo.
Good pattern as well. You could see there it was a set move. Get the high bomb. Put the big fella Vinacolo into your face. But again, the ability of Paul Wellens to just stay cool.
Willie Talau down the short side. Got Francis Melly outside him. Good defensive work though from Shontaine Harpy at the marker position. It's Wilkin, now Sculthorpe. Hands off Jamie Langley, but can't get away from the next 3 in. Last tackle for St Helens. Cunningham. Back it goes to Long. Long under pressure, gets the kick in. Oh, Leslie Vinacolo just allows it. He didn't have any other option really. It was a horrid bounce in front of him. Long finds touch.
He's been busy, hasn't he, Sean Long, throughout this game, not only just in the kicking department, but the ability from time and time, must be about 12 to 13. He's brought someone back on the inside. Switching play. He's probing.
And Mr. Silverwood, I think, is going to get a little bit of maintenance with his walkie-talkie system between himself, the touch judge, and the video referee. So it gives us a chance to have a word up here about the pattern of the opening 10.5 minutes. Brian, it's tight, isn't it? That's probably the best word to describe it.
tight tens, arm wrestle type stuff, you know, swapping, exchanging kicks at the moment. I personally believe the team that scores next will probably go away with this game. Not by a long way, but I think they'll win it. And I think Bradford looking very, very much really impressed with Shantae Harpy tonight. I think he's carried the ball really, really strongly. And they just need that break, that element of luck that you need, and to get down the other end of the field.
Scorelines from the other matches, just while Mr. Silverwood got the running repairs.
Let's go, stand.
Now he's incommunicado. He's back in communication.
Move.
He's not incommunicado.
Wait, go.
That's Latin, isn't it, Eddie?
Surrender.
Well, they say we murder the English language, so...
I'm going to say, I thought you were talking about a fruit there. Or a big hit.
Move.
Ferris gets to his feet, plays the ball to Newton. Here is Andy Lynch.
Well, I made the point that both coaches would have been happy with some of their attacking work, but that's up the tempo and defence. They've certainly done that, so it really is going to take something very special. Maybe the little chip over the top, something to just catch out the defence.
Justin Harris gets to his feet. There's Deacon's grubber kick all along the deck, and Eddie Gardner picks it up. Owen Gardner, he's off and he's away, and he gives it to James Graham, and Graham isn't tackled, and here is Wellens, and he's still going Wellens, and back it goes again to Wilkin. Here is Willie Talau. This could be a sensational score, but it is halted by the tackle from Shantae Harpy.
Breathtaking stuff.
Fantastic run from Saints. It puts them really in the danger zone, and only 2 tackles gone.
Good work by Bradford, though. Look how they've got back quickly. They've set their defence solid.
Long will come back this way, and it's obstruction again.
I'll mention the fact he kept switching the ball one way or the other. And as soon as the big fella Anderson made contact, break here from Eddie Gardner.
Steve, well, that's the second time in this second half that Saints have been dangerous on those kick returns. Earlier it was Wellens and Gardner linking up. Again here, it's where they are good. If they come well on that first play, Eddie, then the rest flows on the back of it. It's a danger area. Bradford defended it well early on, but when they kick the ball, they need to make sure that those chases are tight with one another.
Terry Newton, dummy half to Lynch. And Lynch flings it out the back door. And luckily for him, there was a man there, Justin Harris. Ben Harris, beg your pardon. This is Marcus St. Hilaire now. Anderson and Kieran Cunningham.
You look through both sides, and there's so much talent out there, so much skill. And yet, you're finding it difficult to see someone who's actually controlling it. Maybe the return of Price could be the difference.
Brett Ferris, oh, it's a good tackle from Willie Talau. Ball comes out and went backwards. Justin Harris retains possession for his side. And he hasn't signalled the last tackle, the referee. He has now. That was the last tackle.
I get the impression that the official may have been a bit confused there. Because I don't think he was shouting out. I mean, normally they shout through the tackle count so that the defensive side and, of course, the attacking side know what's happening out there. And when it's ferocious like this, the noise,
Hold your line. Wait.
Could he be the man to turn the game?
Well, he did a lot of tackling early on. Maybe he's refreshed from his stint on the side. Oh, and Jamie Lyon, well, his trademark flick went nowhere, only to Marcus St. Hilaire. Here's a chance for Bradford now.
I don't think he was flicking it. I just think he lost control of it completely. Very rare you see that.
Stanley Jean for the Bradford Bulls. 3 tackles gone. They're on the 20-metre line. Deacon goes left and finds Justin Harris. Harris with a drop of the shoulder, steps out of the challenges. And a good job for St. Helens that Kieran Cunningham was there. This is Terry Newton. Back it comes to Paul Deacon. And Deacon up the middle, and no way through this St. Helens defence on that occasion.
They've got to try to get a second set of 6. Little dab into the in-goal area.
Newton dabs it. Wellens works the ball out and over the try line. They don't get the second set.
Well, the idea was there, but he just pops up out of nowhere, doesn't he?
Second move.
He's by far the man of the match as far as I'm concerned, Paul Wellens.
Go.
He's been everywhere, man.
Paul Anderson.
Back. Shantae.
Cunningham. Leon Price, first touch back. Almost through. And he loses the ball in the tackle. Here is Leslie Vinacolo. That's a big turnover for Bradford. They're turning the screw. Deacon, Ben Harris.
First, Jason, come on.
They'll try to pinpoint now Leon Price. He'll be worried about that error that he's come up with, losing the ball in the very first tackle.
Jamie Langley plays the ball to Terry Newton. It's with Andy Lynch now. St Helens come back in numbers. That's half the job done this set of 6, but it's with Terry Newton. It's a good ball to Deacon, and they're over the line, Bradford. Second try for Paul Deacon. Wonderful pass from Newton from dummy half. And Deacon. Over 1,800 points for Bradford, but those 4 absolutely priceless.
Tremendous effort. This is the error from Leon Price. But what about the work from Terry Newton? Look how he just pulled across the first marker. John Wilkin is out on his feet, and not surprisingly, they've had plenty of possession of the Bradford Bulls, but you've got to turn them into points. And this guy, he's a crafty little devil, and so is the man that scored the try. Set pattern, I'll run at the angle, Deacon takes it.
And they've scored so many tries this year, Eddie, because they've got so many different ways of scoring tries, so many creative players, so many dynamic and powerful players. On that occasion, the creativity from Newton and Deacon running into the hole perfectly. A reward there for the defensive effort the last 5 minutes.
Paul Deacon, who is now on the brink of only his second hat-trick for the Bradford Bulls in terms of scoring tries. He might have had the hat-trick had it not been for the decision by the video referee tonight in the first half, but he's kicked the goal and levels it at 18 apiece.
When the first marker of the play of the ball gets tired, you take full advantage. That is a supreme effort. Pretty to watch if you're a Bradford fan.
And the pendulum, is it swinging to the old boys, Brian Noble?
Well, I think I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, I think that score's crucial. I think that will lift the Bulls players. I think being really vigorous, really energised. I think Mike mentioned the fact that they look like it's a final, or Phil mentioned it was a final. I think they'll go on and win this game now.
Said like a true Bradfordian.
That was high, silly play from Sean Long at a time when they're desperate to get back into it. No doubt about it. Straight into the face of Stanley Jean, and this is where you have to show your mettle now. It's one thing leading the competition for quite some time throughout the season.
Look at this, Steve-o, 18-12, Salford are ahead against Leeds.
It's an amazing competition this year, isn't it? But this is the moment that Saints really have to show that they are champion material. They've got to get back into it, but not in the mood that Terry Newton's out there.
Another penalty, not standing square.
And that was brought about by quick thinking by Terry Newton as well. Quick play the ball, run on the blind side, picked up the man who was just having a bit of a rest. They're looking very tired, the Saints. Look at that. Bang.
So what an opportunity for Bradford. The penalty count is huge, and Bradford have had 13 of them. It's Terry Newton, 10 metres out. He gives it to Iestyn Harris. And Harris almost through, and Wilkin with the tackle this time. Newton, scheming, will come back this way. Takes tackle, number 3, on exactly the same spot that the ball was played a moment ago. Iestyn Harris, Brad Myers! And St Helens hauling back. Just on for Stanley Jean. Newton, back it comes to Iestyn Harris. Harris looks and gives it to Deacon. Deacon gives it to Langley on the charge. Important tackle then from Leon Price. Withers to Deacon, he'll float it high and wide. And Gardner is there, the ball bounces. And it's play on, it's Lyon.
Had to be Johnny on the spot there to the centre, Jamie Lyon. Gardner looked all lost there. Oh, great defence. Up the tempo, and look at Mr. Newton. Come to daddy. I'm enjoying this, said the former Wigan player.
And the crowd lifted by this Bradford spirit in the second half.
Bang! It's tasty.
Fozard gets to the 40-metre line. Last tackle. Long gets the kick in with Fielden hounding him. And Marcus St. Hilaire picks up for the Bradford Bulls.
I think you can see there quite clearly that even though Long was put under pressure, got a good kick downfield, but the St. Helens chase indicates to me it was poor and that they are tiring even more.
This is Brad Myers, tackled by Long. Michael Withers. Cunningham with the tackle. Oh, penalty. Well, Kieran Cunningham questions it, but he was clearly involved, and he actually kicks it away with the boot, accidentally maybe, but he's interfering in the ruck. And I think this is a call from Coach McNamara to kick for the 2 points.
Well, it's in an easy position. Kieran Cunningham. There is.
We'll have the 2. All this pressure on a hot and sultry night here. And Deacon with the boot has missed it.
Ooh,
well, that's a rarity, isn't it?
Yeah. In a good position.
They do get the ball back.
On his best side. And Saints are in no rush. They're looking for the football, but they're in no rush to restart this game.
Stay behind, let's go.
They're trying to get a little bit of their breath back. Not the best.
It's a dusty old dropout.
Get him all, get him all.
Here is Yestin Harris. Here is Deacon.
Okay, move.
Saints having to do some more defending.
Back to his best, isn't he, Deacon, tonight?
Energy sapping stuff. The defence on show here tonight. And another penalty. Not standing square again. Well, it looks a good kill. Daniel Anderson, his face says it all.
Is that a bit hard, Brian, that? You think he was square enough?
He didn't get right behind him, and there's the coach, Steve McNamara, ensuring that they go for it. Okay, he missed the first one, Deacon, but yeah, it's always difficult late in the game when it's tiring, when all the players are tiring, to get themselves in that square position. Sometimes a bit of latitude by the officials, but not on this occasion.
Deacon doesn't miss on that occasion. And Paul Sculport, as we watch Paul Deacon, goes up to the referee just to query the call again. The Bradford supporters are arguing it's 20 points to 18 in the Bulls' favour.
There's times like this where the captain of a side doesn't want to be talking to the official, he wants to be talking to his players, leading by example, getting involved and really winding them up, and that is a big hit. Cunningham didn't miss Stuart Fielden. This is getting tasty.
Vinacolo.
2, set back. Hold. Go.
Deacon. And it's Harpy.
Third move, Jason. Yeah. Third.
Terry Newton. Yestin Harris.
4, please. Back up.
Harris, who was wanted,
4.
so we were led to believe, by St. Helens when he left Warrington for Leeds all those years ago.
Don't go early, I'll call it. Wait. Go.
It's Terry Newton down the line with the kick. It's a good kick too. Oh, it's just skipped away.
Well, he's looking for the touchline. The experience showing through there by Newton, making sure that just keep it tight. He knows that field position is pretty important, but the defence by Bradford in the second half. And to be fair, St. Helens haven't been a slouch in that department either. Oh, that was high from Newton.
Well, if Saints could have anything now, I think it'd be a penalty on the 4th or 5th tackle here, wouldn't it? They had so much defensive work to do, and then when they've had possession, it's been within their own half.
They're still inside their own half. 3 tackles gone. Leon Price gets them over halfway. We've got another really tight Friday here on Sky Sports. The last
Knock on.
Oh, it's a knock on. And last time Leon Price made a hash of things, Bradford scored.
Well, there was a trailing foot there. Andy Lynch certainly had the left leg out. And Leon Price looked at the official and said, well, hang on, you've been penalising us for getting back out of the tackle and dragging the foot. Lynch has done exactly the same thing with his foot.
It's a scrum feed to the Bradford Bulls just inside their own half. Just getting back to that point about the close matches we've seen recently on Sky Sports. Salford 28, Harlequins 29, remember. Saints 26, Hull 27, Harlequins 30, Warrington 28. We've got another 2-point ball game here with just over 14 minutes remaining. It's with Brad Myers for the Bulls.
Been a great second half, though. I really have enjoyed this. Both sides giving it to each other.
Vanganar spun to the ground by Sculthorpe.
Knock on.
Knock on by Vanganar now.
No, same as Leon Price up there, exactly the same.
You heard it, same as Leon Price back up there.
Yeah. Exactly the same as Leon
Just
Price.
silly errors. You've only got a 2-point lead, but
I'll do shortcut.
you've got to make sure of that possession.
Yeah, let's go, come on.
Now, will Saints do some of their customary skillful work deep within their own quarter?
This is Francis Melly.
Okay, move, Bananas!
It's been mostly Bradford, hasn't it, in this second half?
Yeah.
Wellens was the dummy half, and now Bradford are pinged for not standing square.
Sean Longsense gets on with it, and you can see there, no doubt about it, Ben Harris had moved. It's still anybody's game.
Fossard drives it in for St Helens. Cunningham. Here is Jason Kalis to Jamie Lyon. Tackled by Justin Harris. Gardner. Gardner being allowed to run. Now he straightens it up. 12 metres away from the line. The Saints with Long. Back it comes to Wellens. Wellens spins away from a couple. And another one, he gets through Vanganar. Eventually is held and brought to ground. That's how close St Helens are, courtesy of the run from Wellens. Cunningham, Hooper on the burst. Good tackling by McKenna. Last tackle here for St Helens. Cunningham spins it and it's picked up on the half volley by Long. He drifts it into the in-goal area. Lyon is after Marcus St Hilaire and he's grounded by Willie Tallow. They will get another set of 6.
Superb little chip through. Good position though by Marcus St Hilaire. Just get away. Good low tackle by Willie Tallow. Had to be as well. That's how to apply the pressure. Get the second set of 6. We often say it, if it gets to a third set, inevitably the side will come up with a try.
Bradford ahead, but only by 2 points. Goal line dropout coming up for them. Against St Helens team that contains Leon Price, Paul Anderson, Lee Gilmore, who played almost 500 matches between them in Bradford's colours. This is Jason Kalis. Now it's Kieran Cunningham. And Cunningham trying to get a penalty off the referee then.
2. Yeah.
Chris McKenna's not sure he is at the moment, Eddie.
Tallow went round Harpy, and good job that Harris was there. This is Francis Melly. Cunningham from acting halfback. He gives it to Long. Fossard back to Long. Long a short ball. Wilkin out.